I'm so excited.
That makes one of us. Go ahead, carry on smartly.
Welcome back to it, guys, the Now Morning Show. And as you can see, we have some fantastic guests on set with us as we continue to talk about careers that you may not necessarily have thought of. And after we had Echo on this morning speaking to a breeder and telling us how to get into the animal kingdom one way or the other, we decided it was fitting to speak to two guests from the Emperor Valley Zoo. So joining me this morning, let me put on my mask to tell you because I want to go across and make sure. We've got Kimberly, who is with Ted, the boa constrictor. And Ted is very active and very happy to be here this morning.
Very
and
sneaky.
we've got Chanel, who is with my good girl, Carrot. Good morning, Carrot. Carrot actually talks, guys. She said hello to me this morning and I jumped out my skin. So morning, ladies, and welcome.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
A pleasure, because we love to say that we love animals, and who thinks about getting into a career in animal life, especially in the zoo? So tell me first off, how did that happen for either of you? Chanel?
Well, for me, it was really, I actually love animals, and it's something I grew up with.
Right.
And when I started volunteering at the zoo.
Oh.
So I started just spending a lot of time on volunteering and working with animals and working with the staff at the zoo.
And Ted?
And Ted, of course. And eventually is where I transitioned into working full-time at the zoo.
Okay. Chanel, same for you?
Yeah, same as Kim. I loved animals, always had animals growing up. And after finishing school at UE, I signed up at the zoo.
Now, did either of you actually go into academics that were related to animal studies at all?
I did more biology, so I had some work with animals.
Okay. And
Right. I didn't. I did most of my hands-on training. I've done small courses otherwise. My degree is actually in business management and administration, so I do more of the administrative section of the zoo, but I still do love working with the animals.
Which is a valid point, because of course we think about animals, we think about handling immediately, but of course there are administrative requirements.
Correct.
And furthermore, we tend to think that you need to plan your career from like secondary school, pick your subjects that are related to them. So it's nice to know that you could branch off or you know, divert from that course, so to speak.
Yeah.
But let me get to know these bad boys, because they've been in captivity their entire lives, right?
Well, more or less. They were actually two animals that we rescued.
Oh, okay.
Carrot was a rescue. Somebody found Carrot at the side of the road as a baby.
Carrot, he was on the road.
Yeah, somebody found him at the side of the road, and they kindly brought him to the zoo,
Nice.
and we have raised him since then. Carrot is now about 7 years old.
7 years old. So macaws tend to grow to be how old?
They can live almost as long as people, up
Right.
to about 70 years. So
Good company.
Carrot's still a baby, if you think about it.
Technically. But then what's the difference between like a parrot? Parrot? The parrot, no. But what's the difference between a parrot and a macaw?
Right, so parrots are the general species of bird, and the macaw, as you look on Carrot's face, you can see that there's white around the eyes. That is actually skin on their face. So macaws have that little patch of skin on their face, whereas most other parrots are fully feathered.
Okay.
So that's one way to distinguish the type of bird.
Now, as much as Carrot is a baby, how long have you been working with Carrot?
4 years.
Okay, the entire time at the zoo.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's why she's so comfortable.
Yeah.
And scratching on TV. All right, fine.
Listen,
Now, Ted is the same sort of story. Somebody found Ted and brought him in.
Ted was, I believe somebody found Ted in their house, and our zookeepers, we do what we call is a wildlife rescue. So our zookeepers went to that person's home and collected Ted. He was very small. So we were also making sure that he was eating properly and fed, and we realized that he was quite docile. So we ended up keeping him as an animal ambassador. So both of these animals are animal ambassadors for their species that we can bring closer to people. So they can learn about
How did you
them.
determine that Ted was docile?
You can tell from behavior.
After observing for how long? And under how much pressure?
At least for a few weeks, we started interacting with him and
Right.
feeding him and whatnot, and just seeing how he reacts to our zookeepers and stuff. Every animal has their own personality. So they
Ted
do.
seems to like me. He came across a little bit. He's very, very active. Is this normal for this type of...
For him, it's normal.
Okay.
But personality-wise, for him, it's quite normal.
Okay.
Some Macawels will just literally not do a Macawel. They will just sit and they will not move.
That's where that came from.
Yes.
Proper name, though, boa constrictor, right?
Right, boa constrictor is the proper name. Macawel is our local name. We always give local names to
know
animals.
that, honestly. Like, I've heard the term, you like a Ainka Will and they eat, but I didn't know which one it was.
Now you know.
Now I know. He's actually pretty. So what I don't think the cameras will pick up is that iridescence in his...
In the
skin?
scales.
Scales?
Yeah,
That's right
so they
word.
have that kind of shine or iridescent shine in the light. So.
I wish I could hold to help. I could. Sure.
Right on.
What are you gonna?
He's moving away though. He is
Yeah, because
not
he's just
on
going
me.
back around in
He's
circles.
comfortably wrapping himself
And you can't
around.
just take him off because your mic will come off, all kind of thing. He wrap himself
He
up,
wrapped himself
everything.
in my mic.
Yeah, he's pretty comfortable.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Carrot is fully...
Carrot is preening and
It's
screaming.
early, girl. You have to get ready for the morning. You're right.
Yeah.
Carrot talks though.
Yes, Carrot can say hello. She can actually say carrot.
Yeah,
can
she can
say
say her
Carrot.
name.
Why aren't you talking to me now? So before we got onto camera, Carrot surprised me in the cage because I went up and I was like, hello. She says, hello. I'm like, oh, okay. We have a whole personality.
Yeah, so that's one thing. We can teach them to talk. We can teach them certain words, but they will talk when they want to.
Ah, fair.
So she decided she wanted to talk to you.
It was not per se like a formal part of your job to train them per se. It's just off of the interaction.
Yeah, so they pick up words as we talk to them.
Okay. So continuing along the path of career day and trying to get into the world of the animal kingdom, as I like to say, is it that beyond the volunteering, beyond the full-on application, that there are continuous openings or any other ways that we can get involved with the Emperor Valley Zoo specifically?
Right, specifically with us, there's usually always openings in zookeeping. We always want people who are willing to come and learn, because the zoo is a learning environment.
Right.
I cannot say that any one of us know everything there is to know about the zoo and animals.
Yeah.
So we don't expect most people to know anything necessarily coming in. We would like that you know a little bit more. It would help you, obviously.
Right.
But it is the learning environment for those coming in.
Sounds good. Ruckus is over there with his questions from afar.
I just have a question.
Sure.
Like, you know, you're dealing with some of these animals, and in the zoo, you have some animals that in the real world would be considered dangerous, right? Like, I mean, you have lions and tigers and things. Right? There are some animals. I'm curious as to some of the risk involved with a job at the zoo. When you're dealing with animals, like dealing with a snake, or you're dealing with any snake. You said this one is docile, but I'm sure that
Right.
there's some that may not be.
Or not.
Yeah.
Right, so we have what you consider to be a more dangerous animal. We have certain zookeepers that are trained to handle those animals. So we wouldn't send a volunteer or somebody new to that section.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So we have each area sectioned off. So we have the large mammals, which are your lions and tigers, your giraffe, those are the big animals. And then we have a whole reptile section, which is your snakes and whatnot. So we have certain zookeepers who attend to them. So with the snakes, how I'm holding him, they will not necessarily hold a wild snake this way.
Okay.
Then we have snake hooks and tongs and things that they can use to hold the animal away from them
Okay.
and interact with them. Also, it's knowing where your animal is and how they will react. If they're set in a position to strike, obviously you don't go close to them. So you as a zookeeper know what to expect. As well as because some animals get accustomed to routine. So they know you come in every day to clean and feed. Every day they expect this person to come and do this.
Well, they never worry that they try and escape during that time? Like, you're coming to clean and feed and they try and make a prison break?
No, that is also part of knowing your animal and their behavior. If they're sitting right by the door, you wait for them to kind of move away, or if you might have to use the snake hook and push them back or
Makes
something
sense.
like that. So that's also part of knowing your section and knowing your animals and what to do with them.
Definitely know Ted, because you've been talking with your hands moving and you're not bothered at all by Ted.
No, he's gotten very accustomed to me and being comfortable, and then going out because they're part of our educational program as well.
Right.
So we'll take them out to schools as a part of our Zoo to You program. So they get to meet children and interact with them, and it just teaches people to not be so afraid of animals. I know a lot of people are naturally afraid of
Like
snakes.
Ruckus.
Yeah.
I mean,
But no,
I
and you
mean-
mentioned the going out though. COVID has changed a lot.
Yes, it
So
has,
that I imagine is temporarily on hold.
Yes, that physical program is on hold. What we're hoping to do soon is to actually have a virtual program when there are schools to do something like that with them.
Beautiful.
So that they can still have that bit of outreach to children, because we want the children to learn about animals.
Of course.
That is our upcoming generation.
And beyond the beyond the virtual or the learnings that will happen because of COVID, have there been other major changes? Have the animals reacted to COVID in any way?
I don't feel like they've necessarily reacted to COVID. I mean, I think some of them actually miss people. Some of them are
'Cause
they're
that's what I
accustomed to
wondered.
seeing people.
like the
Right.
monkeys. I show the monkeys missing people. Because the monkeys
She's like
love
it.
to put on a show.
Yes,
Of
they
course.
do.
You
They
really
look at people and they find them. I think they find people interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they do.
She's real cleaning herself. You're kind of late though. You're on TV already.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're
But they
missing some of the snacks that people are not
they're
supposed to
missing
give
the
them.
snacks.
Yeah.
Not supposed to give them, exactly.
Fair. And in terms of handling, because as much as I am talking to him, looking at how he just doing whatever he want to do. If somebody is to encounter, as you said, one of these bad boys in their homes, I know we're not supposed to touch them ourselves.
No.
But God forbid. Any tips or tricks for me who wants to touch them this morning?
Right, so a wild snake, something that you would find in your house or in your yard, do not try to touch it. I would suggest you at least keep an eye on it to see where it's going. You can call the zoo and we would come and remove the animal. That's part of our wildlife
How long did
rescue.
it take to reach?
Well, it depends on where you are.
Next to income in relation to the zoo itself?
Yes,
Okay.
so that's how long it will take us to get
Because
to you.
I know, I see a snake in my house, I go and call and wait to see how long it takes on
No,
it to
once
reach.
you call us, we mobilize a team
One
to
time.
come as soon as possible.
All right.
Right.
Immediately
keep that
we
in mind for
mobilize.
future.
Is there a
Yes.
charge or anything of the sort associated with it?
Right, no.
Okay.
No, there's no charge. You call 800-4-ZOO and we will come to rescue your snake.
800-4-ZOO?
800-4-ZOO.
But remember that number. There's fine
It's an
snake in
easy
your yard
number.
and thing.
Easy number to remember.
And so if you any snake that somebody calls you, let's say a snake, people call you to remove the snake from their property. You guys take it to the zoo automatically, or sometimes you release it back to the wild.
Right.
Or?
We normally take it back into the zoo to at least check it, make sure it's okay, that it has no harm or injury, and then we would release it.
Oh, so how do you determine if you're keeping one? Like how you keep Starboy here?
He was when I bought him, he wasn't looking so great, so I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure we wanted to feed him and make sure he was okay before we decided if we were going to release him or not. And then he was reacting so well to us that we decided to keep him as an animal ambassador.
Animal ambassador. Yeah, make sure you have your passport and thing, huh?
Like Carrot, who is letting me scratch her and grooming herself. All right,
Oh
never
dear.
mind.
All right.
Well, on that note, I think we have bothered them enough. But it was a real pleasure to have you guys here, and I hope Carrot will talk to me afterwards again. But for now, remember the number to call should you find any wild animals on your property. That is 800-4-ZOO. Don't do the removals yourself. And think outside of the box or the desk. You can be enjoying yourself as a zookeeper like these two young ladies joining us today. We take a break and come back with more in our morning show.
Undercover stay waiting. He come for the conco, so I give him the conco, Maggie, baby.